Note-taking is one of the most time-consuming parts of the research and writing process. Some students try to skip this step. They write a paper based upon personal opinion and then shoehorn in a few quotes here and there to satisfy their professor, thinking to fool them. But no one's fooled, except maybe the student. I want to show you a better way. This presentation will demonstrate my method for taking notes for a research paper. One of your course requirements is to write a research paper. You have already chosen your topic, done some background research in the reference collection to come up with a research question, and created a working outline. You have also searched the library's catalog and databases for the required books, ebooks, and journal articles, as well as locating a website or two. Your instinct tells you that you need to start writing the paper right now, starting with the first source. Your instinct would be wrong. Your next step is to review each source and then start taking notes. The research and writing process is 60% prep, 30% writing, and 10% editing. There are several ways to take notes. Use handwritten note cards, or write them on a lined writing pad, or type them into a Microsoft Word document. I prefer using a Word document. When I'm ready to take notes, I open 3 documents: my working outline, a new document for my notes, and a new document for my bibliography. Alternatively, you can go to step 3 of this tutorial and add your bibliography entries directly into a copy of the paper template. For the new documents, make sure to change the normal style font to Times New Roman 12 point. Step 1. Create a bibliography entry. It is easier to create a footnote from a bibliography than the reverse. Whether you are using a citation generator from the library catalog or a research database, or a web-based tool like Zotero Bib, you need to ensure that the citation is accurate. The easiest way to do this is when you have the source in your hands. If you are unsure about the quality of the citation, consult the SCS Guide to Turabian located on the SCS Writing Center webpage or the Turabian Manual for Writers, 9th edition, and make the necessary changes. Step 2. Take notes. First, skim the source. Look at the table of contents for the structure of the work and the development of the topic. Then the preface or introduction for a description of the approach to the topic, what the author was attempting to do, and the material covered. Second, start taking notes. Keep your research question and preliminary outline in mind so that you avoid wasting time on rabbit trails. From your sources, you will take notes that can be direct quotes, paraphrases, or summaries of the text. If you copy and paste a quote from a PDF or a website, make sure you check the spelling and clean up latent formatting brought over from the original document. Your notes can also include comments, observations about the subject matter, comparisons to other readings, ideas about other possible sources, modifications to the paper, doubts or questions you might have, information missing or avoided in the sources, or even tangential thoughts. Also make sure to write down the type of note taken. Your notes should be clear enough that another person can understand them. You don't want to come back to the notes you took a week ago and not understand what you wrote. You also want to show how the source contributes to your argument. It is important for your paper that you interact with your notes and quotes. In contrast to the opening scenario of quotes being shoehorned into a paper, you also don't want a paper that is essentially a list of quotes with no analysis or synthesis. One technique is called the quote sandwich. You introduce the idea by providing background or context for the quote. Next, you have the quote which supports your argument. And finally, you include commentary about the quote that explains what it means, why you used it, or why it applies to or furthers the argument. Here is an example of what I'm talking about. The introduction. Two sociologists from Baylor University, based upon extensive surveys and interviews in 2008, identified 4 distinct types or views of God that Americans have, giving insight into their worldview. Now the quote. The way we picture that God reveals our attitudes on economics, justice, social morality, war, natural disasters, science, politics, love, and more. And now the analysis. While these findings may be of import to sociologists or political scientists trying to predict the mood of the electorate, they are also of value to theologians because we all have a view of God. To continue the analogy, you can see how the introduction, the quote, and the analysis are used to make a nice sandwich of your words and your sources. Insert a short-form footnote for every direct quote, paraphrase, or summary. Use Microsoft Word's Insert Footnote feature to attach the author, short title in italics, and page number to the note. Assign a heading from the outline to the note. While you are taking notes, keep an eye out for a quote that would be a good attention getter for your introduction. Continue source by source, a few at a time, maybe 1 to 2 sources a day if you start early enough, until you have completed taking notes from all your sources. Step 3. Prepare the paper document. Open a copy of the Turabian paper template. The title should be Document 1. Transfer the outline headings without the numbering into the paper's headings and attach the correct level of heading in styles. Capitalized Roman numerals 1, 2, and 3 are heading 1. Capitalized alphabetical letters A, B, C are heading 2. And Arabic numbers 1, 2, and 3 are heading 3. Copy and paste your list of sources onto the bibliography page. Attach the Microsoft Word style for bibliography and alphabetize using the sort button. Step 4. Copy the notes into the paper. Copy and paste each note with the footnote number into your paper under the correct heading. Reorder the quotes and notes under each heading so that you can see the flow of the argument. Remember to use your quote sandwiches. Click on each footnote separately and select the Microsoft style for footnote. Step 5. Create a full footnote. Once the writing of the paper is finished, you need to create a full footnote for the first time you used each source. First, make your footnotes into endnotes. Click on the References tab, open the Footnotes dialog box, and select Endnotes. Select Convert, OK, and close the dialog box. Click on the View tab and select Split to split the window between the endnotes and the bibliography. Scroll the 2 views so that you can see both the bibliography and the endnotes. Copy and paste the bibliography entry into the corresponding note and convert it into the footnote format. Change the order of the author's last name. Replace the periods with commas and lowercase words which follow a comma. If the source is a book, put parentheses around the publication information and end the citation with a page number. If the source is a journal article or other periodical, only include the page number from the page cited, not the page range for the article. Once all the first instances of your sources have a full note, remove the split window and return the endnotes to the footnotes. Before you turn in the paper, after the proofreading and editing are completed, review the footnotes in your paper and use IBID as necessary. I hope that you have found this video on note-taking and footnotes helpful and can adapt it to your own processes. If you need help with research or writing a paper, please talk with your professor or contact the SCS Writing Center in the seminary library.